So today I will just jump quickly, just to manage time and make sure we stay on track. I'm going to talk about decision making from a friend's perspective. And I'm going to start this by asking the simple question. Is it right to have friends in the place of work?
Definitely. It's right.
This is going to be interesting. So, Governor?
Definitely it is right, but then you need to choose your friends in the workplace. Because they either make you or mind. You just have to choose your friends right.
Okay, so Governor believes it is right to have friends in the workplace. Anybody has any other contrary opinion or addition? Israel, this is your camera. It's in my way. Thank you, sir.
Yes, you need to have good friends, not bad friends. Friends that are corrupt and friends that are straightforward. And when you have good friends with you work straightforward.
Okay, so sorry, more answers. Oh, this is good. This is getting interesting already.
Yeah, it's good to have friends in the organization if they are friends that have a shared values, that's common value based on the job, to help you in the job as well as help the system to form such a friendship.
Okay, any more? All right then, just to make sure we all agree or disagree, how many of us believe it is right to have friends in the place of work? I need to count this vote. I'm going to take these votes. So I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So everybody, are you neutral or against?
I'm against.
He's against, okay. So we have one against, we have everybody for. So now, please give us your reason why you're against. Good one.
Friends, I say it has not been divided. Is it a man friend?
Okay, in that case, let's define friends. Let's define friends. You want to say something? Go on.
When you talk about having friends in a workplace, we have to define the type of friendship. Are we talking about, if you talk about acquaintances in the workplace, then it's, you can say yes, fine. You know, you have to be in good relationship with everybody, this person, you know. When you say friendship, because it's a little bit deeper than just, no. Being an acquaintance. We're colleagues, you know, where we may not be friends. Yes. We're good with ourselves, but we may not be friends, you know. And like he said, if you're having a friend, you must have, you know, same values, you know, and it facilitates the job too.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Auntie. You agree with her?
Yes. Yes, I'm being partial, but I also think that it's good to have some people that you can really call personal friends. You know why I say that? At times, some of the things that happen personally to you can be cascaded into your environment in the workplace. And then maybe you're not able to perform optimally what you should be able to do, what you're supposed to be able to do it well. But if you are afraid that you can maybe pour your heart out to them, confide in, they can help you keep do this. They can just watch your back. So it's at times it's very good, it helps. Don't just be alone and say strictly job, let's just do this job and go, let's just do a high friends. You could have some very personal people that you can just pour your heart out. I think I like friendship more. Yeah.
This is interesting because, I'm coming to you now then. This is interesting because we've gotten to that point where we are beginning to tie in the relationship between decision making, friendship in the workplace, which is the reason why we are talking about this topic. I'm not here to convince you that you're wrong or that you're right, but I'm here to help you question some of the things you think about friendship in the workplace, and we'll achieve that.
Yeah, I want to look at it from a different perspective. You know, given the fact that in the workplace we spend more time there than in our homes, I think the way to go is building relationships.
when you build relationship in your workplace, it makes the job to be more seamless. That's just it, because then, if you look at the number of hours you spend on daily basis, you spend more hours there than you home. So it's always good to build relationship, make friends and all. Friends that have common value and all. That's just my take.
Thank you very much, sir. So this is interesting. So now we believe it is necessary to have friends, trusted friends, good friends, however we call it, friends they are, in the workplace. We've talked about some of the advantage. I'm not going to argue that. I agree with all of those. But let's define friendship. What is the dictionary meaning of friendship? Of course, we all have different interpretation or definition of friendship as it relates to us. But let's just, what did that Oyibo man call friendship, the dictionary meaning? And then let's review this again. It says friendship, Alaji, take note, non-sexual. So are you still for or against? Are you still for or against? You're for now. So it's a friendship is someone whom you have a bond of mutual affection. Now, I underlined mutual affection there because that is going to be the basics for everything. There is a bond, but that bond is based off a mutual affection. We will come back to that. Now that we know that the bond in friendship is based off mutual affection, I ask again, is it still right to have friends in the place of work? Yes. So none of us have changed our mind yet.
No, that's controversy.
So we've not changed our mind yet.
I have.
You've changed your mind again? Okay.
For everything we do in life, there are advantages and disadvantages. Sometimes some of this friendship turn into building silos in the workplace, building cult personality, building a kind of cabal, in the workplace. Some people, if you are not within that cycle, you will never get anything from the system.
So this is interesting. You want to add something to that?
Yeah, I just feel it has to do with individual.
Okay. See, I'm enjoying this already.
I have a story to tell. A couple of weeks ago, one of our colleagues, a female individual, traveled a course abroad. And then she left her children. One of the daughters was very, very sick. And then you just made a call. A friend came and the friend brought the daughter, took and gave her everything she needed. She took her to the clinic until the girl finished her injections and she was okay. And then that thing actually touched me and said, assuming that lady is not a friend, could she go ahead and do all those things she did? I think that's
Okay.
What is the difference between mutual affection and mutual relationship?
Don't worry, we'll get there. We'll get there. So
mutual affection in the office.
So this is the definition. This is the dictionary definition of friendship. Now stay with me. Stay with me on this one. Yeah. Now yesterday we talked about decision making in the workplace, and one of the things we highlighted is when we make decisions, sometimes we tend to focus on what we stand to get rather than what we stand to lose. So we're talking about friendship in the workplace. I have noticed that all you're saying and looking at is what the friendship benefits and brings to the table in the workplace. But nobody has told me the disadvantage of the friendship. And of course, we know that in everything in life, there's advantage and disadvantage. Yes. But we'll get there. So what we're going to look at now is, let's actually look at some advantages of friendship in the workplace, yeah? And then we'll then decide, after looking at advantages of friendship in the workplace, disadvantages of friendship in the workplace, I'll then ask you that question again, and we'll see if the answer is the same. Are we happy? Yes. All right then. So we talked about number one advantage of having a friend in the workplace is they provide support when you're going through stress. Sometimes you're going through a stressful day. You need someone to talk to, someone to support you. And the truth of the matter is that people will go out of their way to help you when they are your friends. And I said this yesterday, that some people don't work for a company, they work for their manager. Some people do things at work because you're their friend, not because you're their boss. And that's the truth. And that's why we talked about building relationship in the place of work. That's why we talked about ensuring that you have that rapport with your... We talked about the fact that we may not be able to influence things going upward, which is why we find ourselves in this situation, but you can influence things going downward. So if you have that relationship with the people who work for you, imagine how much easier if HRO recruited the right people and trained them right, and they know what they are doing, and you insisted that they knew what they are doing, and you did not coward out when you were supposed to fail them during the period of probation and left them there. Imagine you have people who think like you, with the work ethics like you, who see things and are willing to go extra mile, just 5 of them working for you. Do you think your life will be easier? You don't even need 10. Imagine how many people NPA has on their pay list. Imagine how many in your department, just only 5 who are willing to do whatever it takes to get the job done working for you. Do you think productivity will increase?
Yes.
And we now know that it is within our power to influence these people. If we have recruited the right people, trained them right, it is within our power to influence them to get that mindset. Because when people like you, they will do anything for you. It is just a simple principle of life. Nobody needs to tell us that. We know this.
So can you have, will I say, friend mentors?
Can you have friend mentors at work?
At work, yeah.
Now, so the question then is, that takes us back to the initial decision. Why are we in the place of work? I cannot stand there and tell you it is right to have friend mentors in the place of work. Does anybody want to throw more light on that? Okay, let's start with Governor. I'll be with you in a sec. There you go.
Well, my view is that if you take off a mentor and a mentee, you are taking off of 2 different strata of relationships. But for a friend, you are at par with a friend. But for a mentor and a mentee, one has to lead and the other has to follow. So I do not see how you can have a coding relationship at that level, but not a friend
at that level. Okay? And you still want to go, yeah?
No, that's it.
Okay, that's it. So that's good. So the answer then is, it is difficult to have a friend mentor because those relationships are not exactly at the same level. They play on different pitch. It's like comparing apples to bananas. They may all be fruits, but they are different. All right, so we know that one of the advantages of having a friend in the workplace is that it can ease stress, and we all could do with a little bit of less stress in our life. Wouldn't that be amazing? Our blood pressure will come down, we'll live longer, we'll live healthy, we'll be happy. I would love that if I have more good friends. Now, the next advantage is it helps you feel motivated by the fun they add to refresh and improve productivity. Because sometimes friends make the workplace a bubbling place, and it just picks your mood up, right? Some days you leave work, you leave home, and the pressure from home could just put you in a down mood, and then the minute you step in, you meet that friend with a big smile on her face, like, how far? How was your weekend? You pick up. So it's good to have friends sometimes because of this advantage. They say also to become a team player, because when you have friends who really like you, they work with you, you build that bond of team, you have that team bond with you. Another advantage we have there is to stay prepared and engage, to guide and to deal with challenging situations at work. Because when you have challenging situations at work, it is not madam at home you call or guy at home you call. It is your friend you go to. In most cases, we don't even go to our boss anymore. We know that our boss is the one who's supposed to put us right, but the person we go to is our friend at work. And that's a completely different conversation to say, is that right or wrong? But we're not going to, divert into that. But we all do this because you have that relationship. You just go to your friend and like, sweet night they go through. How do we handle this? do one like this, do one. Before you know, you're out of that space. You're moving. So we have to enjoy job satisfaction enjoy job satisfaction and multiply your sense of belonging, trust in the organization. If you have a friend that believes in the leadership of the organization firmly, they can convince you to believe in the leadership and in that organization. Same way, if you have friends that don't believe in the organization, it is easy for them to convince you the other way too. For stress level to come down, we all know this, we've talked about this. But this is interesting. Let's look at some disadvantages of having friendship at work. Before we start putting that, does anybody want to chip in here? What are the disadvantages of having friendship at work? Why should I not have a friend at work?
Some friends may be a bad influence in the workplace. They may affect your productivity. They may, people like Officer were very bad influence. And I can name them.
Please name them to their face. Name and shame them.
There was a club that you took me to, a family club.
Aye. You should be ashamed of yourself.
Honestly,
He enjoyed it with sadness in his heart. Smile in his face, but sadness in his heart.
there are some friends that will take you off course completely, and you pray for forgiveness every day. So, but the truth of the matter is that some friends at the workplace negatively affect productivity.
Thank you very much, sir. Okay, we've got more.
Yeah, when it comes to decision making, and if you have to really think on a particular department, and the head of the department then is a very close friend of yours, and you know that department has erred, sometimes because you would be very objective in taking your decision. You'll be subjective. So yeah, because this is my friend, let me not be too hard on that department. So you look for a subtle way to, go around it and, so you'll be, like I say, compromise.
Bias,
yeah.
Thank you very much. And one of the things we talked about yesterday, we said one of the challenges we have in the workplace in making decisions is that when it's time to make decisions, we bring our emotions to the table. And you don't bring your emotions when you're making decisions. And because we bring our emotions, sentiment comes in. And when there's sentiment, you cannot make the right decision because you're thinking about who's going to get hurt. And that's why Governor said, do we have the courage? Because do you have the courage after you've made that friend who supported you through work, through thick and thin, who's been there to I am not going to do this. So, without going further, is it still right to have friends in the workplace? Anthony, you want to say something?
What is it right? Okay, I've already said what I wanted to say. Because sometimes if you have friends, a friend, before you people start working, people will gist and gist and gist and gist. At the end of the day, the productivity.
On company pay time, are we?
Yes. People will be gisting and gist. At the end of the day, those things you needed to attend to, you might not be able to attend to them. You carry it over to the next day, and the next day you should or you come again. And you won't have to say, please, let me just, and you try to just say, you're not even listening to me again, and you feel bad, you hurt the person. So it's okay to have friends. I prefer acquaintances in the office. When we want to do friendship, when we take it home, that's when we're friends. But when it's in the office,
I think it's more like acquaintance, because if that relationship does not continue after work, then you are not friends, you're just colleagues, friends or good colleagues or acquaintances.
So before I give it to you, Prof, let me elaborate on that with a question. So imagine you have a team of how many people who are very unproductive, and you know you could do with bright-minded, intelligent people who are committed to the job. And then you know a lot depends on you, and you have that friend like Auntie Talk that said you've now caught up, catch up, you've talked, done all the gossiping, everything, and you've wasted like a few hours of your day, but you have a lot of files and workload to do. That is on company payroll. Do you think productivity can increase that way? So when we say it is then right to have friends in the workplace, is it right for you or right for the work? Who is it right for who? Okay, so you see, we don't divide them now, Abi. Now, is it right for you or right for the workplace? Prof.
After Prof.
I will just make 2 comments. The first one is, you have not convinced us enough why we will not have friends. Because you give us 5 points as advantage, and we have mentioned 1 or 2.
We're building to it.
So by the time we finish with this, we now know whether they are friends. The second one is, the list of advantage and disadvantage is for you to just make a choice. By the time you find that the friend you call friend is on the advantage side, you keep the friend. By the time you find that the friend you say you have is on the disadvantage side, you forget about that.
Prof, give me my mic. Give me my mic. I don't like your answer.
Well, I'm like the lonely voice in the wilderness. I don't have friends in the workplace. I don't.
Was he here when everybody voted yes?
He voted.
People are jumping ship already.
I was asking why everything they have.
People are jumping ship already.
Honestly, I think at the workplace, what we should do, we should be rigid but fair. Nothing like affection. That is my own understanding. Nothing like affection. That is no sentiment at the workplace. But if it is outside, we can be friends. So I handle you the way you relate. I think that should be a relationship. That relationship is on the job. Once you say this is my friend, you are bound to start having that emotions. You are bound to, when he or she does something wrong, because she's your friend or is your friend, you will say, yes, let's see, that is a friend, let's see what he's going to do. That's how you have friends in the other. In fact, I was just asking her, I said, they should call her. I said, we have friends in the office. And she said no. She said no. And that is the truth. After 5 p.m., yes, after 5 p.m., we can be friends. Then if you ask one guy, it was after work. It was done in the office. So that is just the way.
Okay.
You should be rigid person. When you are said to all, yes, treat everybody equally. No friends, no enemy. Then the book goes on. That's my own personality.
Thank you very much. Any other additional questions? Okay, so before I continue, now we'll begin to elaborate on friendship in the workplace. We'll begin to bring in that fine line that most of us don't see. We'll begin to ask that question. Does anybody else wants to jump ship now? Is it right to have friendship in the workplace? So we're still yes, apart from you change your mind, so too. All right, that's fair. You change your mind too. You want to suggest something? Okay. Well, we're getting there. This is fun because we're going to see where we land at the end of the day.
There are situations where some people will claim to be your friend, but secretly and at your back, maybe something good is likely to happen to you. You know, they secretly try to scuttle it. So such people, will they be friends?
So one of those, I think we covered one of those yesterday where Auntie, I think we covered one of those yesterday, one house, We covered something like that yesterday where Auntie talked about a team did a job and then one person was promoted, right? Now that one person who was promoted is probably a friend to every member of that team. The person is not the enemy of the rest of the team. The person is a friend to some of them, but at the end of that job, one person was promoted. We're going to touch a bit on why one person was promoted and others wasn't promoted as we get along. So, we'll find out soon. So, some of the disadvantage of having friendship in the workplace is one, it restricts constructive criticism. You see, as humans, we never surround ourselves with people who will tell us what we don't want to hear. And the people who are closest to us, who are supposed to be our friends, are the people who always tell us what we want to hear. Yesterday, we highlighted the fact that when a president in an ideal world, ideal situation is elected, the first thing that president does is what? Get a cabinet. A cabinet of decision makers. People who don't necessarily agree with him, but people who are pros in that area that will tell him this is what you need to do. From defense, from economy, from any perspective, he gets the cabinet. And we agree that our cabinet is not just our family, it's also our friends. It's our health. Because sometimes your health will tell you you need to slow down. So sometimes it's religion, it's the psychology, it's your job. All of these things influence your everyday decision. Now, so we have this cabinet which is called our friends, our family, our job, our health, our religion. Do we actually listen to them? Did you just elect all of these people around your life, these things that could make you have a good life, and you don't listen to any of them? You just make your decision because you've surrounded yourself with people of same mind who will tell you, hey, go pursue that thing. And then you get to the end, you're living a life of regret. We did say, in life, we make decisions, and those decisions make our future. That you're here at this point of your life today is off the back of every decision you've made in the past. And the decisions you make going forward will decide the future you're going to have going forward. So if you want to make the right decision then, is it not wise to have friends who will contradict you sometimes, who will challenge you to think, who will tell you, man, I better go inside and change that shoe. That shoe doesn't fit that dress. Or would you rather that shoe day and then you go outside, you're embarrassed, everybody is looking at you like you don't have a sense of fashion. So the question there is, sorry, go on. Do we believe it is still right to have friends in the place of work, knowing that we need criticism to improve productivity, we need that feedback to improve and do better? And the people we go to, the people we go to at the end of every day is our friends. Even when we do review, mid-year review, year-end review, we go to our friends, and your friends won't tell you, but not true, you know they do well for work. Your friends tell you, ignore that manager. He just not like you, now beef, now jealousy. So is it still right to have friends in the place of work? Auntie?
And his definition, he said having good friends. He qualified it. A good friend will tell you where you are wrong. A good friend will be truthful to you. Do you understand what I'm saying?
How's that? Okay. Oh, thank you. Another disadvantage of having friends in the workplace is you risk favoritism. Whether you like it or not, you talked about having a good friend. What happens when that good friend wants something and you don't give them? You risk favoritism. You compromise your position at work. I am not saying, again, like Prof said, I am not saying having friends is bad or good. I am just helping you see the advantages and disadvantages. Because we said yesterday, in order to make the right decision, you must have all the data available, all the information available. You provide the decision maker with all the information so they can make the right decision. Israel, please. So if you go on to have friends at work, you risk favoritism. Yeah, so knowing that, do we still believe it is right to have friends at work? And can we see that as we build up on this, it's beginning to compromise our ability to make decisions and make the right decision at work? Sorry. Yesterday, one of our guys spoke about how a committee, is that me? Sorry, one of our guys spoke about how a committee was set up. The committee did their investigation, wrote recommendation, and when they sent that report, the recommendation was ignored and a different decision was made. Could that have been influenced by someone at the top having a friend somewhere there? Hence, the right decision or the decision the committee expected was not made. Because someone may have had a friend that have risked favoritism, that has risked certain things and created sentiments in the decision making. Isha, what's wrong with my mic? Hello? The speaker, yeah? Okay. So with that in mind, if we move to number 3, having a friend at work could risk your work-life balance. Because when you work for someone, a boss who's supposed to be your friend, they tend to call you outside of working hours and tell you, go do this, go do that. Without considering how it affects you, the other pillars of your life, your family, your health, your welfare, they just tell you, go do that. So now we know also that having a friend at work could affect your work-life balance. So again, I ask, is it still right to have a friend at work?
Yes, it is.
Even with all of these things?
Yes.
Okay.
Life no balance now.
And then the fourth one there, we say, this one is key and it's close to my heart. You risk privacy challenge. And a lot of us who go on to have friends at work, we know this. You have that person who you call your good friend, you pour your heart, you open up everything. It is the workplace. What brought us there is one particular interest, which we will talk about. So the chances that you could fall out tomorrow, it could happen. What happens after then? All your privacy. This is why HRO says, before you start dating someone in the workplace, you must fill a form and write it to HRO. So you know, concerning a company, make me meet this person in an ideal world. So is this, again, we say it is not a good friend. In my perspective, a good friend is circumstantial. Sometimes when that wind blows, it's simple. When someone borrows money from your hand, they always borrow money with the intention to pay. They will tell you, I'm expecting this money will come and go pay. But what if that money where they expect not can come? They are not a bad person. Most people really wanted to pay you, but the circumstance changes. So what you call good is based on, it's circumstantial. It could change. So when you go on opening all of your life history, what's happening in your home, your private life, everything to someone who you call a good friend today, what happens when the circumstance changes? Because life itself no balance. Okay, Auntie said a good friend is still a good friend no matter the circumstance. All right.
You understand. It doesn't have money. You understand?
Okay. Number 5, we risk